Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, May 16, 2017. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Clerk of the Board, Labadina Bomar. And to her right is the County Manager, Ramiro Chavez. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Edwards to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
And I would ask a city council member from Tenino, John O'Clanahan, to lead us in the pledge. Would you do that, John?
Thank you very much, yes. Please join me in the pledge for our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So with that in mind, I'll ask if there's an approval or a motion to approve the agenda for today.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for May 23rd. No, for May 16th,
There you go.
2017.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second to approve today's agenda for May 16, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries. And for the board meeting minutes on May 9th, 2017.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the board meeting minutes from May 9, 2017.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from May 9th, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries also. So the first item we have is the presentation portion of the agenda. And I'd like to call up Martin Casey, who is going to do, he's from Central Services, the Director of Central Services. And he's going to do an introduction of a new employee that we're so happy to have aboard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's our pleasure today to introduce to you Scott Florsk, our new IT Services Projects Manager. The Board has been very supportive of important efforts to strengthen information technology planning and project management in the last few years. We have several critical IT business systems that are nearing end of life, which support such vital processes as our permitting, payroll, law and justice case management, and assessment systems. Scott Florsk will lead our efforts to develop an IT project management framework and program for Thurston County. And at this time, I'd like to invite Scott and our IT manager, Brian Ferris, up to tell you a little more about his background and approach.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm going to let Scott do all the talking here.
That was quick.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. I come here bringing over 25 years of information technology experience and over 10 years of specific project management experience. I pretty much worked with every single type of technology, and I'm certified in multiple disciplines with a strong security background. And as far as like the types of public services that I've had as customers in the past, it's law enforcement services, transportation, and agriculture. So I think that my background fits in well, and I think I can help this county deliver projects that come in on time and under budget.
Well, those are great words to our ears. Yeah, you have a comment?
Where did you come from?
Yeah, that's what I want.
I come from Washington, D.C. Specifically, I worked most recently with the Department of Homeland Security. And prior to that, the Inspector General for Transportation.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Wow, you still come in under budget. That's beautiful. Welcome to the family, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to have you and your skill set. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
So in your new arrival, are you a Huskies fan or a Cubs fan?
That's not
No,
fair.
Red-
Trying to become a Seahawks fan.
There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
Good catch. Just a little touch there. See where you fit in. Okay. Thank you, Scott, and welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
So the next presentation we have is an outstanding one in terms of certificate appreciation. And I think Commissioner Hutchin has this one. He's going to read it and present it to the Kippers Corners feed. Yeah?
So Craig Kinnaman, would you come up just, and you can stand there. I don't know if you want to say anything, but you just stand there so people stare at you. Where you can stand there. That's fine, or at the podium.
Wherever you want, Craig. He's amazing.
It was brought to my attention that, well, number one, I have to say that we underestimate, at least I underestimate, how people perceive a county commissioner or the government. 'Cause I don't view that myself in that way. And so when I went down, I heard some nice things about Kippert's Corner Feed as a result or the day of the major storm we had on May the 4th, and your generosity. And so I went down this last Saturday and talked with your wife, Roxy, and introduced myself. And I said, Roxy, I understand that on the day of the storm, people were without power, and you guys opened up yourselves to feed or water to neighbors, to friends, family, whomever the public needed water for their family, their kids, their pets, their livestock, whatever. You were just there. You stepped up to the plate. And when I said that to her, she looked at me kind of stunned, and she said, "Oh no, is that okay?" I said, "Oh my God, yes, yeah, yes." But she thought she was getting in trouble for something. So it's because of that, the County Commission, we're issuing you, presenting you with a certificate of appreciation with thanks to Kippert's Corner Feed. The Thurston County Board of County Commissioners expresses their appreciation and recognizes your generosity of time and resources to assist our community in a time of need. Craig and Roxy Kinnaman's commitment to providing needed water and feed to community members for their families, livestock, and pets during the recent May 4th, 2017 storm has made a positive difference in our community. Presented this 16th day of May 2017, signed by the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
And to be fair, Roxy said, but other people have done this. I said, yeah, but I only heard of Kippert's doing it.
Yeah.
So if there's others out there, that's great.
Yeah.
You'd love to say something good with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, we
Say a
love
word.
our community, and it's just our duty to help take care of people. So we did lower our propane price and offer that free water to anybody that needed it, so thank
Hey,
you
can we get a
guys.
photo?
John, we all three are going to do it.
As you guys are getting ready for the photo, I'd like to point out that Kippert's is also a great supporter of the youth in our community, like at the fair and the animal auction, and all kinds of things like that. So he's no stranger to helping out.
Yeah. My wife's no stranger to your store.
Yes, you
Great job. That way a little bit. Everybody, everybody. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Thanks, sir.
very good. Tell Roxy she's not in trouble.
No. The next people coming up might do that, so. It is with great pleasure to have a proclamation for the National Law Enforcement Recognition Week for 2017. We take our security, be it sheriff, police, somewhat for granted until you see them with their lights on behind you, and then you know that you got to pay your dues in some way. But it is high time that we do a recognition for our law enforcement, and Commissioner Gary Everett is going to read that, say a words and read that proclamation.
You know, I have to comment, even 40 years as a lawman, it still makes me nervous when that patrol car pulls in behind me once in a while. You know, I mean, they're just going down the block or whatever they're doing, but, you know, it's still there. It must be in our DNA somewhere. Anyway, a proclamation here from Thurston County, from the Commission, National Law Enforcement Recognition Week.
Yeah.
Well, they can stand up here and get looked at. Come on, both you guys. Ken and Wally are both going to come up here.
There you go.
And, yeah, you're going to get stared at here while we're doing the reading.
There you go.
Whereas, in honor of the services and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy, and whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. And whereas law enforcement officers are the first line of defense against crime, and whereas the law enforcement profession has become increasingly more complex, posing greater challenges, and whereas law enforcement officers have risked their own lives to save the lives of others, distinguishing themselves with exceptionally mature service, conduct to protect our citizens and fight crime in our communities. And whereas there have been 15,548 assaults against law enforcement officers in 2015, resulting in approximately 14,453 injuries. And whereas in Washington State, more than 300 Washington law enforcement officers have been killed in the line of duty since statehood. Whereas on May 5th, 2017, 22 law enforcement officers were awarded the Washington State Law Enforcement Medal of Honor, this state's highest award for law enforcement officers, on behalf of a grateful state, for exceptional service and recognition of the ultimate sacrifice. Whereas the dedicated men and women in law enforcement who protect and serve our communities deserve our utmost respect and appreciation. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 14th through the 20th, 2017, as Law Enforcement Recognition Week and urges all people to join in this observance, adopted this 16th day of May 2017, signed by the Board of County Commissioners. And thank you very much for your service, and I'd like to point out there would be more officers here, but we are so short of officers, we couldn't even take them off the street to be here. We had to drag them across the hall, and just for a short presentation, and thank you so much for all that you do. We're gonna do a picture? The real one.
Oh, really? Picture.
Bring it in, buddy.
Bring over to be tight. Bring it tight. He's trying to get out of a ticket somehow.
Okay. Wally, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chief,
Appreciate it.
I shouldn't be so informal, I guess. I just happen to have known all these guys their whole life.
There's a story behind it.
That's new to
We'll tell you
me.
some other time.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more.
There you go.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much on behalf of Sheriff Snaza, who couldn't be here today. And we proudly accept this proclamation on behalf of the members of the Thurston County Sheriff's Office and the law enforcement professionals within this county. So thank you very much. Thank you.
May I say something real quick? Never mind. No, they're gone.
Nope, you don't. So that puts us to transition into the next step of the agenda, which is item number 1, opportunity for the public to address the board. And so for those who have not experienced it yet, we do not have the green, white, the red, green, blue little stop sign colors thing anymore. We use the clock on the wall up here, and it counts down from 3 minutes to 0 minutes. And obviously when it's 0, you are at your time. However, if you're still in the last bit of the thought, I'll give you a second or 2 or 3 to kind of close your thoughts off. But it's 3 minutes, as you can see here. So I have a sign-up sheet, and I'm going to go by those who signed in, who've checked yes, and then I'll ask those who are in the audience just in case you did not get a chance to sign in. So I have Mr. John O'Callahan as the first person up to speak.
That was convenient.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you're giving me for this.
Kind of
What-
tell us where you're from in the county, just a little bit.
My name is John O'Callahan. I'm in Tenino,
Okay.
south end of Thurston County. So if y'all want to have a little southern hospitality, come
There you
on
go.
down. You don't even have to leave Thurston County to get it.
Okey-doke.
Talking today about Thurston County through the decades. If you walk around, you'll see some of these flyers. Commissioner Hutchinson, you had one. There's down on the bulletin board downstairs. But this Sunday, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have 5 different museums coming down to display and give presentations on artifacts and stuff from the 1920s, 1925 through 1950. Looks like I got plenty of time.
You do.
So we've got 5 museums. We've got a car show that's going to be there. We'll have live music for a couple of hours. We'll have some snacks and that kind of stuff. We can't sell anything, but donations are always welcome. So you all come on down and have a good time. Another thing, and this is an appropriate thing, I want to get it on record that on September 9th, you need to mark it on your calendar. Tanana is going to be hosting for the second time an appreciation for the police of Thurston County, all of them, State Patrol, county, all the jurisdictions that the men and women put a uniform on and protect our streets. It's a potluck barbecue. This is the second one. Bring something. We'll have chicken, we'll have hot dogs, we'll have some hamburgers already for people to go. So it's all basically side dishes. And one last thing real quick, if I can get a copy of that proclamation, I'd like to have that read into my council as well. Do you have my email?
Yeah, we'll have the county managers.
We'll get to you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate
problem.
that.
John, Counselor, where is the barbecue, the potluck?
It'll be at the middle school,
Okay, the middle
right by
school.
where the tennis courts are.
And the
This is
time?
not a political event. This is no grand speeches. It's just to say thank you to all the police in Thurston County. They get to come down, have something to eat, meet everybody. This is their day.
So September 9th at the middle school at what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Thank
1 to 4, something like that.
you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next person I have is Al Godot. Yeah. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. My name is Al Godot. I live in Lacey.
Okay, sure.
And what I wanted to talk to you about was a subdivision that's going in Lacey on Mays Road. It's to be the east side of Long Lake. And it's supposed to be like high density, but according to the county, it's zoned low density. And I found this out by mistake by calling down here. I want to talk to the fire marshal. And so the woman, she said, it's not high density, it's low. And I went on the website and called, there's a number you can call and you put in a partial number and it comes back low density, 3 to 6 houses per acre, and high is 12 or 6 to 12 per acre. And according to the planning department, the planning department said it's really all done, it's all planned. The only thing they're waiting for is the gopher study on this thing. And the people that sold the property, or it isn't sold yet, but they had to get things done, they get it sold. They said they understood that it was low density also. And I have a letter here from a guy, Tony, that works over here as a planner, and it was a phone call to the people that surveyed it, to the guy that's buying it in Puyallup. And they put down that the current zoning is a MD 6 per 12. I want to know, how did they come up with this? Because if they rezoned it, I live right across the street from this, and they would have had to let me know. And I've been there since '84. My other neighbor's been there since '72, and nothing has ever been said about this. So I just want to get to the bottom of it.
And do we have your information, sir, so that the county manager can have staff get back in touch with you? Brent, you've got the information? Okay.
There we go.
We've got contact starting today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So I have 2 other people's names written on here. They hit no on the little box there, but you're more than welcome to change your mind and come to the podium if you just let me know. And for those who didn't sign up and still wish to come, just raise your hand and let me call you up here and we can go forward. So I see no one that wishes to come. Okay, we'll move forward in the agenda. The next item we have is the county manager's update.
I don't have any updates for you, Commissioners, today.
Okay. So with that in mind, we're at consent items, and see if there's a motion for the consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent items A through F.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent items A through F. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and motion carries. So the first departmental item we have is item number 4, which is the Public Works. And we have a bid award for 2017 chip seal project. And I think, is it Mr. Steve Bricker going to come? Yeah, there you are. How you doing, sir?
Good.
All
Good
right.
afternoon, Commissioners.
You bet.
My name is Steve Bricker, and I'm the Construction Manager for Public Works. I'm here to ask for you to move to award the bid for the 2017 chip seal program to Doolittle Construction Incorporated of Bellevue, Washington, in the amount of $2,016,988, and authorize the Director of Public Works and/or the county engineer or their designee to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions up to 10% of the contract, which would be $201,698.80, or an aggregate of $2,218,686.80.
Any questions or comments?
No?
Yep, I have one question.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea, or tell the public idea of the timeline or the timeframe this contract covers? Is it a year, 2 years? or something?
Yeah, so the work would mainly be done in July and August of this year, so it's pretty quick, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The summer mostly.
yeah.
Okay, sure. Any other comments, questions? There's a motion?
Yes. Mr. Chair, I move to award the bid for the 2017 chip seal program, CRP 98017, to Doolittle Construction Incorporated of Bellevue, Washington, in the amount of $2,016,988, and authorize the Director of Public Works, county engineer, or their designee to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope. Up to 10% of the contract, $201,968, or an aggregate amount of $2,218,686.80.
It's a lot of numbers.
Second.
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and your motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next item we have is a contract award for the WIRC, or the Warwick Public Tipping Storm Conveyance Line Project. And Mr. Steve Johnson, how you doing there, sir?
Hi there, doing very well. I
Okay.
am Steve Johnson. I'm a civil engineer with Thurston County Public Works. On May 11th, 2017, that's last Thursday, a total of 4 bids were opened for the Warwick Public Tipping Stormwater Conveyance Line Project. That's CRP number 91077. The low responsive bidder was Roglan's Inc. of Aberdeen, Washington, in the amount of $422,843. That includes tax. This project will install a new stormwater pump station located at the existing waste and recovery public tipping area, as well as a new force main to deliver this runoff to a leachate treatment pond. This project will also refurbish an existing and upgrade an existing stormwater pump station that's located at the yard waste area. This pump station at the yard waste area collects water from the yard waste and will connect to our new force main for delivery to the leachate treatment pond. There'll be about 1,700 linear feet of 6-inch force main. All flow from the leachate treatment pond is then delivered to Lot Treatment Facility for final treatment. Completion of this project will help protect the environment and will help ensure this facility, our work facility, remains in compliance with our NPDES permit. The construction and county administration, as well as inspection costs, will be paid from our Solid Waste Reserves Fund. The project is included in the 2017-18 Public Works budget and the 2017-22 Capital Facilities Plan. This project is consistent with our county's current strategic plan, and it meets the external goal of environment and sustainable resources, protecting the environment and natural resources. Do you have any questions?
Any
I
questions?
do not.
I do not.
Okay, is there a motion for?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move to award the bid for the WARC Public Tipping Stormwater Conveyance Line Project, CRP number 91077, to Roglan's Incorporated of Aberdeen, Washington, in the amount of $422,843, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any orders, any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, up to 20% of the contract, $84,568,000 $84,568.60, or an aggregate amount of $507,411.60.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Let's see where we're at. The next item is from Emergency Services, and today we have Kurt Harding. He's Emergency Service Director to talk about an interlocal agreement between Medic One and Camino Island.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Emergency Services is requesting the Board of County Commissioners approve an interlocal agreement with Camino Fire and Rescue to purchase 5 new medic units at Broad Northwest. Medic One is purchasing 5 new medic units to replace the aging vehicles in our fleet. Under RCW 3934, an EMS agency is allowed to enter into an interlocal agreement with a fire agency to purchase equipment, including medic units, provided the agency utilized a competitive bid process to acquire the equipment. Camino Fire and Rescue conducted a bid process for the medic units and entered into a contract with Broad Northwest for the purchase. The Camino Fire and Rescue contract with Broad Northwest expires on June 30th, 2018, and historically, Medic One has utilized this process to purchase new medic units. These 5 medic units are already authorized in this year's budget. The Board of County Commissioners required to execute the interlocal agreement and authorize the Emergency Services Director to execute purchase agreements with Broad Northwest for the 5 new medic units.
Any questions of Kurt?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I don't know if I have a question. I'd just like to make sure that the community realizes why we're going to Camino Island. They might wonder, that's not right close. Could you explain that just real quick for our viewing audience?
In order to shorten down the process to acquire these new medic units, once we put the order in with Broad Northwest, it's 270 days to get the medic units built and delivered to us. So what we do is we follow a process where we enter into this agreement with another fire agency that has done a competitive bid process. So Camino Fire and Rescue has a current contract with Braun, and they did a competitive solicitation that allowed them to come back and award that contract with Braun. So we're piggybacking essentially off of that contract.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the interlocal agreement between Camino Island Fire and Rescue and Thurston County for the purchase of 5 new medic units from Braun Northwest, and authorize the Emergency Services Director to enter into an agreement with Braun Northwest for the purchase of the medic units as approved by the county or in the county budget.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and your motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item we have is number 6, which is from Central Services, and Martin Casey, the Director of Central Services, is have present the approval for a 5-year lease for the Sheriff's Office.
Yes. Good afternoon again, Commissioners. I'm Martin Casey, your Central Services Director, and we're here before you today seeking your authorization to approve a 5-year lease with J4 Associates of Tumwater, Washington. We currently lease about 31,000 square feet of mixed office and warehouse space in the in the industrial or New Market area of Tumwater for use by the Sheriff's Office's Patrol Division. The current 5-year lease will expire at the end of this month. We've been working closely, and with me today in the audience is our leasing coordinator, Michael Crow. He's been working closely with the Sheriff's Office staff on development of this new lease, which the Sheriff's Office supports because it will provide further fiscal stability as well as operational effectiveness for the Patrol Division. The rent does include a modest increase over the last lease, but it will be fixed for the duration of the lease, meaning no further increases for the next 5 years. In addition, the building owner has agreed to perform several requested tenant improvements at their cost in this lease, including new fencing for impounded vehicles and improvements to the restrooms. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Martin?
No. Thank you.
I don't.
No? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve a 5-year lease with J4 Associates in Tumwater, Washington, for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $193,884 annually, and authorize the Central Services Director to sign the lease.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and your motion carries. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Sure. So next item is number 7, which is Commissioners and County Managers items, and I'll ask either one or both of the commissioners if they would like to talk about some of the things they've done in the outreach in the community or something particular on their mind. Got anything?
No, sir, I don't. I'm not gonna do it. I got a phone call I gotta make when it's over.
Wow. I'll make
And
it
it's
quick.
an important one.
I'll make it
Okay,
quick.
okay.
I attended the Transportation Policy Board meeting, the Olympic Region Clean Air Agency, the LOT Board meeting, the Visitor Convention Bureau Annual State of Tourism at the Great Wolf Lodge, which was fun and entertaining. I did a tour last week of a marijuana producer processor in Thurston County, which was absolutely an eye-opener in a very good way. And attended this last Saturday the Walmart in Tumwater. Jennifer Champlin, for this, I believe, 6th year in a row, put together the Missing Children's and Missing Adults Awareness Program for the day. It's a labor of love, and so even Bellevue came down, and all the first responders and search and rescue were there to participate in that event. And then Saturday, attended the Summit Lake Community Meeting regarding the algae bloom. And this morning, bill signing at the governor's office. Are you going to talk about that?
No, I was just gonna say ditto on most of those issues. I didn't think the
Oh,
public needed to hear it twice.
It was busy. I'm done.
Yes,
I'm done.
it's been busy.
Alrighty, for me, I've been out around. One thing that I absolutely love about Thurston Thrives is the Housing Action Team. For those who know me, I'm the chair of that Housing Action Team, have been for 2.5 years, and we've come a long, long ways in terms of developing the strategy that we have on our strategy map. One particular team is called the Blue Team. It's also called the New Construction Team. Within that is a sub-team, sorry for the other portion of it. We have an incentivized plan that we're building where we've gone around to, say, the county, and we're going to go to a couple of jurisdictions. We've gone to the assessor to talk about how we can modify permits, if you will, without breaking code or doing anything unlawful or anything like that, but where we can have market permits and then have affordable housing, market rate housing permits and then affordable housing permits. It's probably a wish list to do, but it helps to at least help to kind of put a new flavor or new twist to how we can get affordable housing done with less cost, hence the word affordable. It's been our 4th time meeting, and it's been going very, very well. So you take that plus what we built last year as the pipeline, and you put the two together here in next year, we think we have a very solid plan for the out years in terms of funding projects and incentivizing the whole process as a whole. So it's been very, very rewarding being able to do that. Also met with Amanda Reed from Capital Land Trust, just to continue our relationship with the county and the Capital Land Trust. They do a lot of great environmental items here as far as preservation and conservation. Another item, I sit on the board for the Cascade Pacific Action Alliance. I know it's a big acronym. It's called the CPAA. We need this in terms of community health. It covers 7 counties, and what's particular about it is that what they call the 1115 waiver was finally passed and passed by the federal government, received by the state, and these funds are based off Medicaid. And so when we actually see where the dollars are going to flow out to, it'll come down to each one of these counties to help in terms of community health and preventing social determinants that get in the way of everyday life, such as smoking could be a social determinant, whatever we're trying to do. But it's really good to have this, and it flows through Thurston Thrives as far as our action arm. So it was our 2nd meeting. We just finished our bylaws, and it's a humongous effort in terms of 7 counties. Putting 7 counties in one room is not always, it was a lot of fun. It's just getting organized. The storm and Norman performing portion is always fun to work through. So also, I attended the award ceremony for the organization that's called Together. They handed out scholarships over the weekend to almost 7 recipients, and they are phenomenal kids. They get up on stage, they give you their talents and their expectations of what they do in life, and it's really good for what Together does. And it's all grassroots driven. The scholarships are people who've donated in, they put it into a pool. Of course, there's a team that assesses who's going to receive the scholarships. But if you ever get a chance to go there, there's some that are very musical and dance talented, and it's just phenomenal. It's free. You come out there and see it, but just see the award show. It's really rewarding, and this time it was hosted at SPSCC. So the last thing is, last night I attended the Thurston Thrives Coordinating Council. A lot of Thurston Thrives this week. And so we covered the social host ordinance, and that's a piece of legislation that this commission passed earlier this year. The social host ordinance covers the environment or the place of where illegal marijuana or drinking for underage youth is being conducted. So there's already laws on the books saying if you provide, but this is where the environment is, so it kind of puts an extra reinforcement to adults that are in the area who, be it parents or not, have provided literally gave to or provided the area, the environment to for those who are receiving marijuana or alcohol. The whole thing about it is to have that conversation at the dinner table, at home, at the ball game, or wherever, between the adult and the child or the youth, to kind of deter them from using marijuana or use it more responsibly as they get older in life, where I-502, the marijuana law here in the state, passed, and then and have a responsible use and have a better outcome health-wise. So we talked about that for a while. And as Commissioner Hutchins talked about, we had the Summit Lakes, and we went out there to take a look at that as far as getting involved with the community. It was great. We declared an emergency because of the algae plume, green algae plume. There's more to come that. We're getting updates every other day, but it was really good to be able to provide to the community out there. So with that in mind, I'll just ask for the county manager if he has any updates.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through what your schedule is going to be for the remainder of the week. Starting this afternoon at 3 in the afternoon, you have a public hearing, two public hearings. The first one is an application from Michelle Telecom, doing business as Rainier Connect, for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain telecommunications facilities within the county's right-of-way. Soon after, you have the second public hearing, and that is related to consider amendments to the Thurston County Code, Section 15.12.015, concerning the calculations of equivalent residential units on the ground mount area for water supply. This afternoon, you had a schedule at 3:30, the Transportation Benefit District meeting. That meeting has been canceled. Begin tomorrow, Wednesday, May 17, at 9 in the morning, you have an executive session under RCW 4230.110I, and the topic will be the hydraulic permit issued by the Washington State Fish and Wildlife in association with the ordinary high water mark. There's a lot of technical details that staff will walk you through during the executive session. At 10 in the afternoon, you have another executive session under RCW 4231.101I, and that is related to a current litigation between FutureWise and Thurston County. At 11 in the morning, you have an update with Superior Court. At 12, you have the opportunity to have a luncheon with all the elected officials in the county. At 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing on the proposed Shoreline Master Program update. Moving on to Thursday, May 18, Commissioner Blake, Commissioner Hutchins, they have the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization regular meeting. That will be at 1 in the afternoon. Nothing on Friday, May 19th, and on Saturday, May 20, at 5 in the afternoon, you have a roof evening in the garden, which is a charity dinner. It's a social event. No business will be conducted at that time. Moving on to next week, Monday the 22nd, you have nothing on your combined schedules, and then you'll come back here on Tuesday the 23rd to review the agenda for that Tuesday's board meeting. Thank you.
You bet. Any other comments, concerns?
Thanks.
We'll miss you. You will be missed.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I don't know where he's going.
That will be, I will be on vacation
You'll
for
be
the next
back,
10
yes.
days. I'm not going anywhere permanently.
Not permanently.
Okay, with that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of May 16th, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting for May 16, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
And we'll be back here at 3.
Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of Commissioners for May 16, 2017. We're conducting the public hearings, 2 of them today, in fact, and I'd like to start off by introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner Hutchins, and to his right is Labadita Bomar, the clerk of the board, and to her right is the county manager, Ramiro Chavez. With that in mind, I'll give you the background, and then we'll open up the public for a public hearing. The public hearing is to consider application for Moshtel Telecom Incorporation, doing business as Rainier Connect, for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain fiber optic telecommunication lines and system facilities within Thurston County rights-of-way. Moshtel Telecom Incorporation has applied for a new non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain fiber optic telecommunication lines in order to provide network telephone service and telecommunication infrastructure services. State law requires that a public hearing be held on franchise applications. So with that in mind, we have a sign-in sheet in the back. If you haven't signed in already, I have one right here also. And you'll have 3 minutes to be able to speak. We no longer have the green, red, or blue countdown thing. So 3 minutes, as you come to the podium. And at the end of your 3 minutes, you hear this little buzzer sound. If you're right in midstream of your thoughts, whatever, I'll let you finish, but then I'll ask you to kind of finalize. And then from there, so before we start, I'll ask Scott Davis, the county engineer, to come up here and give us a little background behind the podium and tell us about the whole Moshtel Telecom application process.
Right. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Scott Davis, currently acting county engineer with the Thurston County Public Works. I'll probably repeat a little bit what you said already. So our RCW is 3655-040 requires a public hearing to be held for franchise applications, including for telecommunication facilities. As mentioned already, Moshtel Telecom, which does business as Rainier Connect, has applied for a non-exclusive franchise to construct and operate and maintain fiber optic telecommunication systems within Thurston County. This is a public hearing. The public hearing notices were posted in 3 public places in the county seat and published twice in the official county newspaper. And after the hearing, if the board deems it in the public interest, you can accept the application and in whole or in part, and then enter into a resolution to that effect. And so basically what we're doing here, there's several parts to this process. One is the submission of the application, which happened last year in fall of 2016, and then county staff, John Tennis, starting that process before he retired, worked with Moshtel Connect on the application and the information that's required to that. And once staff feels that the applicant submitted all the information in accordance with county code, we hold a public hearing like we're here today, just to hear public testimony on the actual application, not the franchise itself. So this is kind of the second step, I guess, is considering accepting the application. And so once if the application if you choose to accept the application, then at that point, then staff would begin with legal counsel, discussion with the applicant in regards to the actual franchise itself, which is the agreement between Thurston County and Moshtel Connect, and that would again come before you for consideration at a later date. So again, this is just a public hearing about the application for them to be operating or potentially operating telecommunication facilities within Thurston County. So do you have any questions at all?
I just have one question. You used the term non-exclusive.
Yeah.
Does that mean that others can apply type of a thing if they wanted to do so? So we're not holding anybody back, right?
No, we're not.
And just to reiterate, Scott, this is just on the application. Any franchise will come down the road later
Yep,
for another public hearing.
Yeah, the agreement's a separate process that would come before you again. That's correct. This is just the
Okay.
application.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any other comments or questions?
No.
With that in mind, I have a sign-in sheet, and I'll just go as those who've written their names in by order. So I'll ask Mr. Rick Finnegan. There you go, sir. Yep. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Great.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am the attorney for Moshtel Telecom. It's pronounced a little bit differently than what I've heard around here today.
Moshtel.
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 But Rainier Connect works just great.
Sure.
Michelle's actually been in business in the state of Washington for over 100 years. They've started out providing telecom services up in the Eatonville area. When the telecom industry opened up in '96, they moved out and began offering service in Centralia and Chehalis and in Tacoma. This past year, they acquired Reach One Internet, and it's through that acquisition that they're coming into Thurston County and also over to Grays Harbor County and looking to provide service, focusing on internet, but also telecom service as it can be profitable to do so. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have and get the process started.
Any questions, Mr. Finnegan?
No, I'm glad you clarified where you're coming from, though. The Shell River up in Eatonville
That's
makes a lot of
correct.
sense.
That's correct.
Okay.
No, no comment, no questions.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so I have no other persons listed here, and I'll just look out for the audience and see if there's a hand wave or some sort of motion that someone wants to come to the podium and address the board. And seeing none, I'll ask if there is any other discussion?
Nope.
Any questions? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing and, being in the public interest, to grant the application of Michelle Telecom Incorporated doing business as Rainier Connect.
Just to close first.
Close. I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so motion carries. Now, is there, what's the pleasure of the board to be able to go forward or hold off and do some more analysis or discussion based on what you've heard today, or make a motion?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so is there a motion?
No, there is. Ready?
Yes? Now you can do it.
Mr. Chair, I move to, being in the public interest, grant the application of Michelle Telecom Incorporated doing business as Rainier Connect for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain telecommunication facilities within Thurston County rights of way.
Mr. Chair, can we have a comment prior to a second, or do you have a second and then
And then
comment?
comment.
Second and then comment.
Second and then comment.
Second and comment.
So I'll second that.
Your comment?
Well, oftentimes as we're up here, I like to point out to the public that we, contrary to everyone else in the office.
Oh, your time's up.
Yeah. We, the three of us up here, never get a chance to go over any of this or, other than written material that is submitted, which is a volume like you can't believe. So, in other words, we don't get a chance to discuss this and work it all out ahead of time, oftentimes like people that are doing the presentations. Like, Scott did a great job on his presentation there, and oftentimes he'll have others come forward and they banter back and forth, and it's very obvious that they know what they're talking about. So when we make a little mistake, I just ask the public to bear with us, because we don't get to talk about it ahead of time. We abide fully by the Open Meetings Act, and so unless we're in a public meeting here, we don't talk about these things, so that's why. That's all. That was my comment.
Are you excusing my faux pas?
No, I'm not. I'm making excuses for any future faux pas that I might have.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded and stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so motion carries. So, the next public hearing we have is concerning a Thurston County Code section concerning calculations of equivalent residential units in the county water system for the purpose of determining the monthly connection charge for commercial, industrial, and irrigation consumers. The purpose of this public hearing is to allow customers of the county water utility to provide comment on the proposed Thurston County Code amendments concerning the calculations of base rates for commercial, industrial, and irrigation consumers. Again, there's a sign-in sheet in the back, and so if you haven't already, go back. I have a sheet here for me, and I'll call on those who signed in as per the order they signed in. And again, for those who haven't heard, that we have a 3-minute clock and it'll count down. You heard the buzzer, and when the buzzer finishes, I'll ask you to finish up if you're midstream of your thought. So I'll ask if Mr. Mike McKinnon wants to come to the podium. Sure.
Staff's presentation.
Wait.
Staff.
Oh, presentation
I'm
first.
so sorry. I got ahead of myself. Can I ask the staff to come up before? Yeah, sure.
See, that's what you meant. Commissioner
Yeah.
Edwards, that's what you meant, huh?
Well, that's maybe what I was referring to.
No, I just jumped ahead of my.
We don't practice ahead of time.
No, and with that in mind, Karen Weiss of the Public Works is going to talk to us about how this application goes. Okay?
Great. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Karen Weiss. I'm the Senior Management Analyst with Thurston County Public Works. And the amendment you're being asked to consider today is a technical correction to the ordinances that govern our utilities in Thurston County, and it is for the benefit of the customers that we would be making this proposed change. Our utilities serve between 800 and 900 customers in the Thurston County area, and this affects a small subset of those customers. Prior to 2017, we were not billing commercial water customers consistent with our adopted ordinances. And beginning in January of this year, we did start applying the calculations as written in the ordinances. At the time of the implementation, we did send out outreach letters to our customers explaining the change. Not only were we now in compliance with the ordinances, but this also streamlined the billing and improved our accuracy and efficiency. What the calculation deals with is how the monthly base connection charge for commercial customers is determined, and in simplest terms, it's based on the average months of highest water use. The intent is to adequately plan for adequate system capacity, but the calculation itself is anything but simple. Application of this calculation has had an unintended consequence, specifically for Grand Mound commercial irrigation customers. And applying this has had cost increases to these customers ranging from $200 to $2,700 on an annual basis, affecting 7 of our 15 commercial irrigation customers. Some of those commercial irrigation customers have contacted us and indicated that they believe these are unfair and burdensome, and staff believes that there's merit to those concerns. We recognize that the method that we use to apply these calculations is different from surrounding utilities, for example, City of Olympia, City of Tumwater, and Centralia. So Public Works staff is currently working on a comprehensive review of our ordinances and specifically this calculation during 2017 to include a thorough look at the method and formula for calculating these monthly connection charges. But in the interim, to bring relief to those affected irrigation customers, we are proposing an alternative calculation that is more equitable and fair, we believe. And simply, it is based on an average of 12 months use as opposed to the average highest months of use. We are proposing that this be retroactive back to January 1st for this ordinance amendment. And just to conclude, the staff has provided outreach information. We have sent letters to Grand Mound irrigation customers and posted that information on the utilities webpage. We had a postcard mailing of this public hearing, and notice has been published in the Olympian and posted on our webpage.
Questions or comments of Karen?
Well, I'd just like to say I'm always impressed how well staff presents the issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No questions.
And I was taking notes, and this is about fairness and equity for the customers.
Correct.
And the fact, I think, that we're going back to January 1st is fair and equitable as well. And it prevents big balloon payments coming up, that type of stuff too.
Many of the customers have already had big increases in their bills effective as of January from prior years. So we're
Okay.
trying to remedy that.
That makes me very happy. Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
For me, if, a recap here just of what you said there. So in, say, the wintertime, there's been less, and in the summertime, it's been double, and back down to the winter, and there's an off balance of the rate versus the usage. Is that?
Well, in prior years, that's true. When there was no usage, they were not being billed anything or very little, and then it would go up dramatically in the summer. But that's not what the calculations in our ordinance say. There's a different calculation basis that we implemented, and it is designed to make it a more level base monthly connection charge during the year. But again, it's based on what those highest months of usage are in the summer. And so Now, year-round, they're getting billed a very large or very high base connection rate on a monthly basis. And so, again, because it's based on, let's say, June, July, August usage as opposed to January through December usage. And so this calculation revises it so it takes into account all 12 of those months, annualizes it, and then they would get a monthly connection charge based on that.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
And it was that local community that came to the county
Correct.
with the issue.
Oh, very
Yes,
good
it
point.
is. I believe we're represented by one of those individuals today.
Oh, good, good. Thank you, Karen, thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments? Nope? No, sir. Okay, thank you so much, Karen. So now we can do the public comment, and so I'll ask Mr. Rick Finnegan. Oh, nope, wrong one. Mike McKinnon, sorry. Stop it.
Karen did a much better job explaining it than I certainly would have. So, good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Mike McKinnon. I own and operate the Dairy Queen at Grand Mound. We built that restaurant. Actually, we've been in that area for many, many years, but we rebuilt across the street back in 2012, I believe it was. And one of the interesting things, being that I have restaurants in different municipalities, is being able to weigh and see how the different areas treat irrigation, let alone water and sewage rates. And in Rochester, it's always been a little higher than we see in City of Tumwater, City of Yelm, or the City of Olympia, and that's okay. Differences are to be expected, and I recognize that running your own water system down there, you've got to make sure you plan for the capacity that you need in the high summer months. But we saw, to Karen's point, just on the irrigation side of things, we saw our monthly connection fee go from $37 a month in January when we weren't using any water, which always kind of irked me, but it was $36, so I could kind of put it away. We saw that fee go from $36 to $309, so a ninefold somewhere increase in those monthly fees. And if I try to extrapolate that out over the course of a year, I would have seen irrigation fees for an irrigation plan that was mandated by the county. We would have preferred to have done different landscaping, quite frankly, if given the chance. But when we built that restaurant, we were mandated to have a very complicated landscaping plan. And we would see costs in excess of probably $6,000 per year for what amounts to essentially 4 months of irrigating that we do. Obviously, with the weather we've had lately, we haven't needed any irrigation, so we don't turn it on until we absolutely need it. So it has been a concern. Obviously, I brought it to the attention of the TC Utilities, and which then got Karen involved. And it was a bit of a surprise, despite previous public notice to the effect that it was coming. I don't think that until the needle hits the arm, you don't always realize what's about to happen. And the $300 a month for not receiving a drop of water in January, February, or March, that's a needle hits the arm type moment for us. So with that, I just hope that you'll give this due consideration and find some relief that will get us more commensurate with where other utilities in the area are at. Briefly, 30 seconds left. If I extrapolated out the current rates, I'm looking at approximately 20 cents per cubic foot on water under these current rates versus between 3 and 6 cents for the other municipalities. So with that, wow, I just did it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you so much, sir. All right, I'll just look out to the public and see if there's anybody who wishes to come forward to speak on this issue, and seeing none. Then I'll ask the Karen or anybody in Public Works and the county manager, has there been any emails or any other correspondence based on this that be able to include in?
No other public testimony has been received, as far as I know.
Okay, sure. Just want to make sure, yeah. Okay. Any comments, questions so far? No?
I do, but do we save it for the, after the second?
Sure, yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so that motion carries. Okay, and so is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the ordinance amending Thurston County Code Section 15.12.015 concerning the calculation of equivalent residential units in the Grand Mound water system for the purpose of determining the monthly connection charge for commercial, industrial, and irrigation accounts.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second. Is there a discussion?
Yes. Mr. McKinnon, are you one of the residents that brought this to the county's attention?
I am, yes.
Thank you. That's brilliant work. I appreciate that. And one final question. Why is it Dairy Queen doesn't serve marshmallow cream anymore? It drives me nuts every time we go through, and I'm sorry we don't have it.
That would fit in the idea of you can't please everybody all the time.
Well, we're talking about fairness and equity here. No, I'm done. Thank you.
Any other further discussion?
No, I hope we're helping a problem. That's
So
all.
we're solving a problem.
We're solving a problem, yeah.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so the motion carries. Any other items? Nope. With that, we are adjourned.